Okay, hey everybody, I am just going to go through a couple of the things that we've talked about with chalk paint, and here are a couple of pieces that I've been working on. Basically, y'all know how to ask some questions, and I'm really feeling like at this point I need to video and do some video tutorials, so that's what we're going to do. This is going to be kind of brief because I've got my friend Julie out here filming me and we don't have forever, but I do want to kind of go over a few things. First, let me tell you this, and I'm going to show you the tops of two of my cans. One is a brand new can, which is this one of the chalk paint. This is the old white. And then this is one that I've had for several weeks now. And I'm going to tell you this right now, if you leave these open at all, it's going to thicken up like this, big time, not just a little bit. It's going to get kind of bad, kind of fast. Not bad, but you know, this paint is kind of created to bring texture to furniture. So, you know, that's how it works. It's pretty thin at first, really workable, but if it gets really warm or if you leave the can open, you know, for a good period of time, it's gonna thicken up so that you can kind of bring texture to your furniture. That's, you know, how it was designed, and really, that's how French furniture, and to me, this is very French inspired, that's how it's painted, that's how it works. So, you know, if you don't like that, I would really suggest hammering it down. I mean, immediately after you get finished. It was, like I said, really created to bring texture. And what I'm talking about is like on this piece, and I know we can't probably focus totally, but you know, because the paint was thicker, it's just got just a little more to it. It's not totally smooth like a lot of the pieces that I've done with the chalk paint. Like my hall table and some of those are really, really smooth. This side has got two coats, and then over here you'll see that it's really thin and really, you know, it's still, anytime, by the way, with your chalk paint, it's gonna have brush strokes in it at first. And that's okay, because that's just the way it works. It's like the first coat, it's gonna have, Julie's laughing at me, new videographer. Anyway, basically it's gonna look like that. It's gonna be all streaky and you're gonna think, oh my gosh, I've just painted my grandmother's whatever and it's awful, but it's not gonna last, it's not gonna stay that way. It's gonna eventually look really smooth. And even this, as I was painting it, I was just hating the way it was looking, because in my mind I wanted it to be really smooth and really flat, and it is now that it's dry. So that's what it'll do a lot of times. So the first thing we'll kind of talk about is distressing. I guess I can kind of hit application a little. I'll write about this too. But again, just make sure that your cans are staying shut. That should take care of any texture problem you're having. As far as adhering, I've had some people ask about adhesion. I've had no problems with the chalk paint staying on the furniture. Does it distress easily? Yes. But once I've, you know, waxed it, it's pretty much stays in place. Now I will tell you this, if you're using a wax, and probably I'll do another video for that, but if you're using a wax, you're not gonna want to let anybody touch it for at least 24 hours, probably more like 48, you know, and again, make sure your coats are really thin, that they're not thick. If they're thick at all, you're gonna get some scratches in the wax if it's not dry, because the very first time I used it, let my toddler play with his cars on top of my coffee table, and now I need to redo the whole top of the table because I just was being impatient. So be sure that you're, you know, taking time. Again, this is kind of just a rough piece. It's not, I've not gotten, you know, very much done, but we're just gonna, you know, to me, the great thing about it is like I'm just using my sanding block and it's just like so fast. I also love just being able to have like a piece of sandpaper and it just kind of like comes off immediately. I can kind of scratch it and make it look scratchy if I want to. I mean, that just takes so much longer with latex paint. This stuff was just kind of, you know, for lack of a better word, you know, born to kind of be put on furniture. This piece actually has a little bit of leather overlay, which is kind of cool, and I was hoping it would kind of distress that way, so that's going to be kind of neat. But you know, it just comes off really neat, and you see it kind of comes off in a powder. I love, again, that I can like make it look like, I love that that looks like it's been on there forever, and it's just, I don't know, like there's a little bit of paint left. So it really, really is workable, and it's just great. I love it. I hope y'all are enjoying it. It's different, you know, it's different than latex, and that's okay. Like to think, you know, man, I'm not I don't really feel comfortable with it yet, but you know, probably the first time that we all picked up latex paint to paint our furniture or our house or whatever, you know, we were probably uncomfortable with that too. So I think it's good to ask questions and figure out what works for you. Again, just like I talk about in the ebook, just don't be afraid to try things, you know, to just experiment and, you know, mess up. Like, it's fine the very first time. By the way, this is not the way the inside of this is gonna look. In progress. But you know, the first time I used the wax, that particular wax, the Hannets, I really did not use it the right way. So, you know, that's, oh, I'm getting stuff on my top. That's okay, you know, to use it and decide that you don't really like the way it looks. You know, that's not a big deal. Okay, but y'all know how to distress edges, you know, especially any of you that have done this. But you know, I really, when I'm using, like when I'm doing a flat surface, I really use like circular motions because it, to me, wears really naturally and it just kind of gives a good distress finish. And I will tell you this, the chalk paint does this really naturally by itself. You know, you don't have to work as hard to make it look natural. But so see what I'm saying about it chipping off easily? I've had a couple questions about that. No, it does not chip off easily, especially after 2 coats. It's very durable. Now, if you're having trouble with bleed through, like from serious stain, then I would say, you know, yeah, definitely, you know, definitely go back and put a primer on. It's not gonna hurt. It's not a big deal. And just make sure that you're putting a couple of coats on there. So see, and now once I've distressed that, any texture that was there is really gone and it's perfectly smooth. I mean, you know, and I kind of want to really like beat this one up a good bit, so I probably will keep going. And I just kind of like mixing what I use when I distress, whether this is a 150, sheet of 150, so just kind of all kinds of stuff. I'm just not picky. I'm just kind of go until it feels right. Okay. Okay, so that's enough about distressing. Y'all know how to do that. It's not hard at all. This is to wipe my hands and my, hopefully, wax that I'm about to show y'all how to do. First of all, let me just tell you, if you don't keep baby wipes with you when you're refinishing furniture, you should start doing it because they're the best thing ever.